What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. As always, I am Ace.
And I'm McMillian.
And we're back for another episode. As always, if you want to be a part of the council and join us every week, then make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as follow us on our social media accounts to make sure you can get all the updates from the council. And with that being said, the council is now in session. So we got a lot to talk about today, McMillian.
Oh, we have a lot to talk about today. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, so we're going to switch up the order a little bit today, everybody. We're going to start off the show with 86 today. We're going to be doing 86 episode 19, Stay This Way Forever. And we're going to start off with one of our first topic for the day we have is the Morpho. So as everybody know, 86 went on their next suicide mission to go and destroy the Mofo. And this episode was basically the start of that mission. Well, not the start of that mission, the continuation of that mission, I should say. So they finally made it to the Morpho today, guys. So first things first, what I want to say about the Morpho is that mug is bigger than what I thought it was going to be. Like I knew it was supposed to be big, but that thing is way bigger than I thought it was supposed to be.
So much. Oh, okay. You know what? You brought it up. When I saw this thing, I thought it was the size of a train. It was so much larger than a train. It was a Boeing 747 with a cannon on the back of it. That's what this thing was. And I was like, they're dead. There's no way.
Like you said, I'm thinking this mug is about, at least maybe not like an average train, but probably a little bit bigger than your average train or something like that. They pull up on it while it's just chilling, and I'm just like, this thing is huge. And then it shows his cannon. I'm like, that cannon is even huger. Like, what are we doing here?
When I saw the cannon, I was like, I am surprised the base survived. I'm surprised we are even at this episode. Now that I see what shot them, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, so the freaking thing is huge. And then on top of it, they pulled an okie doke on us this episode where apparently that not only did they make one of these motherfuckers, they made two of these motherfuckers.
Dos.
Two. They made two of them.
Dos. And one of them has wings.
And okay, yes, that's one of the topics I want to bring up too.
I didn't mean to take away your thunder, but
no, that's fine. This motherfucker has wings. Why? You guys said this was a train-based legion. Nobody said anything about wings in the report. This was not in the report at all. Wings was not in the report.
Now luckily, if you've seen that, if you watch the episode, it doesn't fly, or it didn't fly. At least this episode.
Nah, forget what you're talking about. That motherfucker fly.
They think it flies. I feel like I know it flies. I just hope it doesn't really.
Listen, you don't put wings on the back of a giant legion and not want it to fly.
We're screwed. We're screwed, y'all.
And not want it to fly. Though it did not fly this episode, I just don't think those wings were for artistic purposes. I just
to make it look more threatening.
I just don't see it. They can't be for artistic purposes only. Because if it is, then it looks cool by all means. It does look cool.
It does.
But however, I just don't think they're just there for show.
And hats off to the design team. Y'all outdid yourselves because that thing was. Yeah, no, it looked as threatening as it needed to be.
Yeah, so it's.
Oh my god,
it's massive.
Yeah,
it has wings. Didn't fly. Pretty sure it can though. As well as the cannon. We talked about how huge the cannon is on itself, but we didn't get to see the Morpho shoot the cannon last time when it destroyed the bases, but we actually got to see it fire off this time, and that thing can definitely take off half a city with just one blast.
Oh, and yeah.
It did take out half a city with one blast in this episode.
The only reason our heroes escaped was thanks to Frederica and her medlin. But, man, that thing, it basically, you've probably seen the episode if you're watching this, and if you haven't, shame on you. But it's a giant railgun attached to this giant-ass legion, and I'm just like, yo, this is unfair. This is extremely unfair.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're gonna come out of this one, y'all. I really don't.
We went from fighting Legion infantries to Legion tanks to even bigger Legion tanks to now we're fighting Legion giants that can apparently fly now.
A Legion god, if you will.
That can apparently fly now. But since you brought up Frederica and how she basically saved everybody's life because she was there, so we were correct on how Frederica did sneak onto the ship, because she wasn't there to see them off when they did leave to go on their suicide mission. So from that alone, I already knew she snuck on the ship, but we got the confirmation today on this episode that she snuck on the ship. Not surprised in the slightest at all. I mean, I wasn't, like I said, I already knew she was there. So when they finally found her, I wasn't surprised at all.
I just thought it was so funny the way it happened. Well, one, it was like, I told Shin basically to move, and like that's how they survived. But also later on when they were recuperating from their little skirmish with the Morpho, you hear Frederica bang her head inside Fido, and Fido's just like starts shaking, and I'm like, oh Lord. She in the robot?
Oh yeah, and all the places she chose to hide, she chose to hide in Fido, which may or may not have been the smartest decision, considering how Fido is on the front line, but not, I guess, at the front of the battle though. He's he's at the back because he's for reserves and ammo and stuff like that. So, but even then, I don't know. I guess Fido may have been one of the safest spots for her to hide at when I'm thinking about it in retrospect. But so this brings us to our next topic, since Frederica snuck on to the ship after all. Raiden is the one who's going to be taking her back to base. So, with that being said, do you think Raiden is going to make it back to base?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask this question. We already... I still don't know. For one, I'm not sure. It's really hard because 86 has no qualms killing off people. It really doesn't. We saw it with our boy Eugene. Granted, the death flags were there, but I didn't think it was going to be immediately after. Like, they didn't even show it. It just happened. So, I hope not. Like, but at the same time, Raiden is the oldest of them besides Shin.
Yeah.
Is like the most adult. This is basically a double suicide mission now for all of them. Yeah. I don't know if he gonna be okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen to Raiden and Frederica at this point if they can make it back, because they already stated that it's like just a field of Legion they have to go through even to get back to base at this point.
Not only that, but like Shin handed Frederica her gun, and if I know anything about anime, it's sick twisted how it just like turns the situation against itself. Frederica might just have to end up shooting Raiden, which I hope doesn't happen. I really don't. But I mean, even
if that happens though, technically, wouldn't she be dead as well though? Because he's the only one. He's taking her home. Look, so I mean, if he dies, she technically dies.
I mean, yes, but that's going to be so messed up to watch. Is all I'm saying. Like, God.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I agree. Okay.
Like,
so we got to deal with that whole debacle now. So we got to see if Raiden's gonna make it back alive or not. Like I said before, I wasn't surprised at all when they found Frederica because I knew she was there. I was just waiting for her to show her little head, and here she is. And so one of the next topics we had to talk about for 86 was how apparently the Legion is more sentient than we thought. Everybody,
yeah.
We got the introduction of a new sentient Legion called the No Face. Yep. We haven't seen or heard of this guy before. This is our first time hearing of him, No Face. This may be the Legion that we heard talking when, I can't remember what episode it was, but the very first episode when the Legion first started their mass attack on all 4 of the nations. That may be the Legion that was directing everybody and like to all the different directions. That may have been No Face actually leading everybody. So No Face could be quote unquote either the full commander or of all the legions, or maybe just one of the commander of all the legions. We don't know, but this definitely signifies the legions have upper ranks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely thought the way it first worked with the Legion was like it was some type of like hive mind type unit, but now with this whole ranking system, it seems like that because in this episode we get a look at Kirya basically as the Morpho talking in his head, trying to go after Shin, and he keeps getting orders from No Face to disengage, don't fight him, disengage. And I'm just like, so they're more than just AI, human based AI. There seems to be some type of hierarchy to it.
It's almost like at this point they truly merged with the Legion, like the human brains that they took. They actually, they fully merged with the Legion, and now they're human AIs in a sense. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, but
to see that.
Yeah, but this is I just thought it was so interesting. Like like there was like a designation. They had roots, and then also like apparently Shin has his own nickname to the Legion, which is like Geralt's or something like that. We'll probably put it in post like exactly what he's called because I don't think we.
Yeah, because I can't remember the name either. But I'll
it's
bring
interesting just to see how like this is how dangerous Shin into the Legion, to the fact that they gave this man a designation. Like it changed in my mind, unless and maybe some of you all as well. It probably changed like the idea of how we thought of or interpreted the Legion, because now I'm just like, oh, they're 10 times more dangerous than I thought they were. Because at first I thought they were just swarming countries. But now, if they have like if they have a hierarchy, that means there's a goal at the end of all of this, some way, somehow.
Yeah, because from what we first knew about the Legion is that they was just autonomous AI that was just going and just destroying everything, and then the only like little hint of sentient legions that we got before in the earlier days was Shin's brother, but he wasn't. We didn't get to see Shin's brother like to this extent, have taking orders and stuff. And having like we kind of saw him have a conversation with Shin, but that was like at the point where he was basically about to kill Shin, though. Mm-hmm. So, and I only thought that connection was like that because that was actually Shin's brother. Yeah. So I didn't think nothing else about that.
Yeah, and also we already knew Shin could hear voices. So when I was like, when his brother was talking to him, I was more thinking, okay, this is a one-sided type thing. This is like a back and forth. But now I can see, they can have conversations with each other.
Correct.
It changes everything.
Yeah. So it changes the entire battle plan. It seems, all this time that the Legion were not just senselessly out going and destroying everything. There were actually more of tactics behind it than we thought. And as McMillian said, that there may be some type of end goal. I mean, I don't know. Maybe their end goal is to turn everybody into a Legion. Because, I mean, at this point, they're just going and just messing stuff up at this point. So I don't know what other goal they would have other than total annihilation at this point. To be honest with you, but one question I do want to bring up before we end this section of 86 is, I'm pretty sure we're coming to the end of season 2 here for 86, and we have not yet seen what the hell is going on in the Republic.
Hey, if our girl is still alive.
We have not seen what's going on down there. So what you think, what's happening in the Republic currently?
I don't know. I want to, because in my mind, I don't think they would kill her off screen. I really don't, considering like how much they built her up. We got to know her in the first season, and also we know like Shin and all of them actually care about her a lot. Correct. So I just feel like to kill her off screen would be such a waste.
Yeah, no, I think they did that.
I think the fact that we haven't seen them in a long time, though, means that something is majorly happening in the development between the Republic and the Legion. Something big. I'm not sure what, though.
If they did end up killing Leah, they might do the thing where, like they switch to the Republic and we find out Leah's dead, and then they do that whole backwards time transition thing to find out what happened to her.
What led up to
I would hope not that that's the case, but as we said before, I wouldn't put nothing past the creators of 86 and the writers of 86. Anything is a go in this anime. I wouldn't put it past nobody.
They trying to hurt us.
Everybody is a target. Everybody is a target.
They trying to hurt us. This anime, Jesus.
So everybody's a target. But other than that, this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. So it's time to rank this bad boy. I will give it. I'm gonna give it an 8, and here's why. The Morpho is the biggest threat that we have seen so far in the 86 universe. Even bigger threat because that mug got wings. I don't care what nobody says. I don't believe those wings are for show. So that's a whole nother threat in itself. If that thing can fly, we got some issues. Number 2, Raiden and Frederica. Are they going to survive? Are they going to make it back home? That's just a big what if at this point. And then number 3, the Legion itself and how they're way more sensitive than we thought. It was a lot of world building done in this episode that I did not expect to be done in this episode. And just the whole fact that the Legion are more sensitive than we thought, and like you said, it just with that being found out now, it's just a whole different ball game now.
We in trouble.
It's just a whole different ball game now. So I'll give it an 8.
Okay. I have to agree. I think this is about an 8 of an episode. A lot of world building, a lot of groundwork, I think, covered in this episode. The thing that's probably missing for me that bring this up to a 9 or a 10 is that while there was a lot here, nothing made me feel like this is a must watch. Granted, I think people need this. If you're a fan of 86, you definitely should watch this episode simply because it builds upon things that have already been laid. And you get to see the Morpho and its wings and all its terror. But, I think different from, the episode where we gave 86 a 10 in, this doesn't illustrate, I feel like, as much of a threat as, the other, how big of a battle the Legion scale was and all that stuff. It gives implications for things to come, which is great. And I think that's more so why this is an 8 instead of, a 9 or a 10, because it's not... The shit has not hit the fan quite yet. We see what they need to take out, but we have not seen the ramifications of the battle that might result.
I beg to differ. I think we're at the point of shit starting to hit the fan.
Well, it's starting to hit the fan, but I'm saying it hasn't necessarily splattered everywhere, I should say. They still haven't engaged in it fully. We haven't seen a full fight with this thing yet. And also now we're getting to the point where it's not just a Morpho we probably have to be worried about. What is No Face? How big is he?
Yeah, because we don't even know what the hell he is at this point. Because if they making new legions out here, ain't no telling what the No Face is. Yeah, so I did not even think about that. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
The No Face might be a whole completely different type of legion.
I think this is a very strong 8 of an episode. This is definitely something you, as a viewer of this series, probably need to watch. But if I was check out this anime 86, I wouldn't say this is a titular episode. I'd be this is a important to the plot, but this is if you could skip around. Not saying you should do that. This is just being a bad viewer. But this is one I'd be start here.
No part skippers.
Yeah, no part skippers.
We're gonna have an episode on that, but that's not this episode though. But okay, so we're gonna move on to our next anime we got slated for today, Mushoku Tensei, episode 21, titled Turning Point 2. And right off the gate, first talk for this episode I want to talk about is how Rudy should have kept his goddamn mouth closed.
He should have shut the fuck up. Oh my god! Look,
I'm gonna
let you go. I'm not gonna guess the demographic of our audience, but I myself am a black man. Alex is a black man. If another person that you don't know walks across you and is hey, such and such, you don't know them. You don't know them. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they do. You've never even heard. God? Who? I ain't religious. I'm atheist, actually. That's all you say.
The whole time, okay, so they're walking through the snow, whatever. They come into the cave, and all of a sudden you just see Rugier and Frederica Eris. God dang it! You just see Rugier and Eris just freeze up, and I'm just oh, okay, oh snap, what's going on? At that point, I'm just okay, why can they sense somebody that's coming, but Rudy can't sense somebody coming? I guess at that point I was thinking that maybe it was because of their battle sense, but it's probably for this other reason that we're going to talk about later. But yeah, at that point I was okay, that's a little weird. Why can they sense them but Rudy can't? Anyways, we keep fast forwarding. The dude comes into play. Rugier literally told Rudy to don't move, don't say a word.
Not a single muscle.
You see these guys are basically scared shitless, and what do you decide to do? You decide to turn around and ask this man's questions when you could have just let him keep on walking?
After viewing, they had an ox with them. This ox, the moment that this dude crossed them, I don't even know. Well, it might have been before that he crossed them. But the moment this dude gets like invisible view of them, this ox, hightail, commits straight suicide. Just runs off. It was so shockingly brutal. It just ran and swan dived.
Correct.
Perfect 10.
So like the whole time I'm just sitting here like, Rudy, read the room. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like if there was ever a time I got pissed off at Rudy, it was this time right here. Because I don't know what the hell he was doing.
He's smart. In my opinion, he's shown to be smarter than this. And this was such like curiosity killed the cat moment, because it literally killed him. Literally, quite literally, murdered the F out of him.
It was ridiculous. But so yeah, that. And if you wonder who we're talking about, if you may or may not, if you've seen the episode or not, we're talking about the Dragon God. So we got the second appearance of the Dragon God. So as I stated, either last episode or episode before that, was that the man we saw in Turning Point 1, who was surrounded by all those dragons, was in fact the Dragon God. So I was on point with that. Yay me. But yeah, so we got the appearance of the Dragon God, and from the words of the man god himself, he is apparently the strongest being in the Mushoku Tensei universe.
So strong that without we're going to touch on the things that make him weaker later, but he is so strong without the limiters that are placed on him, he could destroy the world that they inhabit currently.
Correct.
By himself. And
at this point, I hope, well, ain't no hope. I'm pretty sure from the encounter. Okay, I guess I'll start from here. So it seems like the Dragon God may have the power to look into the future, or he has the same powers that Man God does, as he can kind of like see everybody and see like what's going on and kind of peer into everybody's future. One of those two things, something along those lines.
The thing that got Rudy in trouble when he's running his mouth is Orsted, right?
Yes, Orsted, Dragon God Orsted.
Orsted, the Dragon God, had regarded Rugier and Eris. When Rugier had asked him something, or basically made they were talking, and Orsted knew their names even though they had never met before, and Rudy was like, "Do you know them?" Or he was like, "Not yet." But then Orsted, before leaving, after Rudy asked this question, he was like, "Hold up, what's your name? Who are you? Who?" Basically, Rudy gives a whole spiel. He's like, "No, that doesn't make sense. You shouldn't even exist. Your father only has 2 daughters. I don't know." And then that's when Orsted is like, "Do you know the man god?" Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he appears to be in my dream," and immediately runs the fade. Immediately does not let him get the words out. Just immediately runs the fade, whoops Rugier and Eris's ass, and then proceeds to kill.
Yeah, so basically, if I can compare the ass whooping that Rugier got, it was basically the same type of ass whooping that Thanos gave Hulk in Infinity War.
Oh, so he let him get off a couple. Yeah, he let him get off a couple good licks. With it was sad.
He got tore up. Eris couldn't do nothing. She couldn't do squat. Eris was just thrown to the side. I didn't expect her to do anything either, but she was just thrown to the side. And Rudius got killed. Quite literally, he got killed. But he got saved, which we'll get to later on. But Rudy ended up getting killed in this episode. Didn't see that coming. And then we have the whole talk about after Rudy dies, he goes and sees the man god again. Which brings me to my next point right here. The man god is up to something. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The man god is up to something.
You're right.
Because why did the dragon god just attack Rudy all of a sudden? Because he called him an apostle of the man god. I don't know what the man god did. I don't know what he's trying to do, but apparently the dragon god don't like him. And with that being said, that lets me know that he is up to something. He done did something before, and he's up to something else.
Look, guys. I don't know if you've ever seen the Boondocks, but I'm gonna just reiterate this thing that was asked in Boondocks. What the fuck did he do to make that nigga that mad? Because to kill children, that's a special type of anger right there. Special type. Last episode, if you listened, I was like, the man guy's been leading Rudy straight so far. I don't see no reason to doubt him now. I have every reason now. Because I'm just like, something happened. Like, in Mushoku, and granted, you could probably be like, oh, McMillian, he's just the antagonist. No, the way Mushoku's written, it's too well laid out for it just to be simply good versus evil, in my opinion. Something had to have happened for him to get that upset. And I'm very interested in seeing what it was.
And also, during when Rudy was having his conversation with the man god, the man god also dropped another world building topic in today's episode. In today's episode, we got the introduction of cursed children. Last episode, or the episode before that, can't exactly remember which one it was, we got the introduction of blessed children. And in this episode, we got the introduction of cursed children. So, inside the world of Mushoku Tensei, apparently there are blessed children and cursed children, with blessed children being born with incredible gifts, and cursed children being, just that, they're born with cursed on them.
Yeah, but it seems like, not to cut you off, but it seems like based on how the manga described the people who are born with curses, that it's placed on extremely strong individuals anyway, like people who have like really strong, like, because we find out Orsted is one of these cursed children, and his curses are there really to limit him being as strong as he potentially could be. We found that out. Apparently it was the same with like the demon god Lapis. So like, it's kind of crazy that you have two opposite ends of the spectrum, where you have people who are blessed enough to be like have ridiculous powers, but not strong enough to be cursed, and then you got people who aren't blessed, but they are ridiculous. They're meant to be so strong that they have to be put cursed on. Like, can you even fathom, like, being born with you can't like use all the full range of your hand, because if you could, you destroy the world. Like, that'd be ridiculous. I'm sorry for the random comparison, but I couldn't think of anything else. I was just like I can't make a fist, but if I could, the world would be dead. Like, that's insane.
Like, if I could ball my fist,
I can only get this much, but if I could
apparently the dragon god has multiple curses, but the one curse we did learn about today was that he has a curse where every living creature is hated and feared by him. And apparently, the reason why it did not affect Rudius was because he's from another world.
Or at least that's the working theory.
That's the working theory
because
right now.
Because the man guy didn't seem even sure about that when he said it.
Correct. So that's the working theory right now. And which brings us back to the point of earlier, is that's the reason why Rugierd and Eris was froze up, was because they, because of the dragon god's curse, they feared him, instantly when they probably works as, as soon as you get a certain distance close to me, the fear sets in, because they couldn't even see him before they, started getting scared.
Yeah, and Rudy was like, what? Because in the episode when that happens, Rudy's just like, what are y'all doing? There's nothing there. And they completely froze. Even I was like, I just thought, like how Ace said, I thought it was like, the anime trope. Oh, I can sense this guy's killing intent. I thought that's what it was about to be. And I thought that that Rugierd and Eris could sense it because
they're warriors.
I thought it was the only thing. And it turns out, no, he's just his curse is to make, one of his curses is to make people afraid of him.
Yeah.
Which apparently Lapis also had, and that's why the Super have it, because he passed his curse to the spears. But we got to find out that that's not, that's slowly going away. One good news out of this.
Yeah, one good. I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, at least one small piece of good news that we did get from this episode, which is also during the man god's conversation with Rudy, is apparently that the curse that was placed on Rugier is also slowly going away, and the reason is because he cut his hair.
What? And apparently Lapis also had green hair. I love Mushoku. I really do. That was just weird. So funny. Oh, this anime is...
After all these years of Rugia struggling with this curse, all he had to do was just
cut his hair and act like a good person.
Yeah, but I mean, Rudy, I think, if not mistaken, the man god also said Rudy also had a small play in also breaking the curse as well. But it's still just wild to me that also part of the reason why the curse is slowly being breaking is also because he cut his hair. It's just like, okay, weird thing to bring up, but I'm gonna let you have it. You got it. I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
Whatever. This is your world.
It's your world. I'm just living in.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
I'm enjoying watching. I'm along for the ride.
So, and then now, I'm gonna come into one of the last topics is Rudy's death. So, at the end of this whole debacle, Rudy gets straight up killed by the Dragon God, which allowed Rudy to go and have his whole little conversation with not the man God. Rudy gets killed by the Dragon God, which then allows Rudy to go have his conversation with the man God. There we go. The only reason that Rudy is alive is because
seeing Mushoku Tensei continue.
Yeah, it's because of the person that was traveling with the Dragon God, which is a female named Nana Hoshi. Yeah, we don't know what she said to him, but she said something to Orsted that made him cast healing magic on Rudy in order to save his life, or / probably bring him back from dead. Because I mean, at that point, Rudy was basically dead.
Oh yeah, no, he was gone. He was backed up.
So, what do you think she could have possibly said to make him heal Rudy?
I don't know, because we don't know that woman. We don't even know what she looks like. We just know that she's traveling with Orsted right now for X reason. What guess is that possibly
we did not see her either when they first introduced the Dragon God. She was not with him.
Yeah, no. When he first showed up in the series for Turning Point 1, she was not. I don't think we saw a glimpse of her. But one thing that I think might that she could have said, only because this plays into the whole he can see the future aspect, is maybe that Rudy might one day realize that him and the man god should not be working together, and that Rudy could possibly potentially be a powerful ally to Orsted, considering he's not affected by his curse or anything like that. I'm just speculating, like I'm spitballing here, but that's the only thing in my mind that even makes remotely sense of why this dude who didn't even let Rudy get a sentence out, like barely get a sentence out, and immediately kill him, why he would even consider reviving him.
I think if I had to take a guess, it might be something to do with Demon God Lapis, because during their fight, Rudy, let off this huge blast we ain't never seen him use before, and the Dragon God Orsted, he makes the statement that his magic might be on par with Demon God Lapis. I don't know. With that being said, I'm pretty sure at some point we'll see Rudy get to fight the Demon God Lapis, which also brings back to another point: is the meta disaster was probably to break the seal on the Demon God Lapis. But if anything, it might have something to do with that. Maybe not, or maybe because at this we don't know what the hell Orsted is doing at this point. He's traveling the world. We don't know why. We don't know what for. He's just going around messing people up, apparently.
I don't know. I don't know what she could have. Yeah, with all that, I don't know what she could have said. It could, like you said, it could have been that, and that's. I mean, I even think yours could blend into mine, because, like I said, Rudy could end up being a powerful ally to Orsted, so maybe he reconsidered killing him.
Also, one more before I forget. One more thing I do want to touch upon. Orsted, how he said Rudy was an apostle of the man god. With that being said, that inclines that the man god was also in contact with other people other than just Rudy.
Oh, it does. You know what? I guess because he did say apostle, and apostles are usually followers of a deity. Yeah, I guess that would mean that there could potentially be more people other than him, Rudy, who's got reincarnated in this world by the man god.
Oh, so do you think they're more reincarnated people? I was just thinking that it could just be more people that he's leading on for whatever reason, like he's doing Rudy. But I didn't think about the fact that it could be more reincarnated people.
The only thing that made me think it could be more reincarnated people is because Rudy himself is a reincarnated person. But you're not wrong. It could just be simply people who lived in this world and follow him.
Okay.
There's a lot. There's a lot, y'all. This episode gave us a lot.
Yeah. And then, because now it got me thinking, is the man god one of the 7, powers of this? Not 7, I guess, is that what they call them? 7, the 7 strongest strengths in this world. I can't remember the exact title they gave.
I think it was like the 7 great powers, I think is what they're
something like that. Is the man god actually one of them? He's not like guys as a different name, maybe?
I don't know. He's not listed. He seems like he's like a deity altogether. Like the 7 great powers seem like they're people that are like extremely strong of the different races and that fall under like these titles. While the man god seems like he's in otherworld deity, but maybe he was a person at one point and something happened. It's a lot. Like I'm the fact that Orsted and him seem to have a huge confrontation or something going on makes me think that it could be a myriad of things.
I mean, because the only reason why I X that is because the 7 powers of the world, they all have the title of God in their name. So that's the only thing that makes me ask that question.
I was just thinking of like how like they rank their thing. Like,
we know it's part of the ranking as well. But all I'm saying is that the man god also has technically that rank as well. So it was just maybe like, I don't know, maybe he either is just a person that also achieved the god rank, or he's one of the 7 powers. Maybe just like guys as a different name or something. Because I don't know.
Possible. I mean, you bring up good points. At this point, I don't know. There's so much it could be. He could simply be a deity, or he could be a dude who got godhood, fought Orsted, and then that's how some stuff ended up being the way it is now. It's just that right now we have legitimately no answers to any of this. We just have like hanging questions, and we can speculate about them all day. But there's so much little information we got about Orsted other than like his rank, other than who he is. And him and the man god have beef, and that is why he decided to kill Rudy in the first place. Other than that, with such little things, it's hard for me to like come up with a theory of who the man god could be, other than just like an enemy of Orsted, and that he did something messed up to him a long time ago, maybe. But other than that, I honestly don't know who he could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's he's up to something. I don't know what, but the man god is up to something.
I agree.
And,
you don't get it. A man does not get that mad for nothing.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Rudy interacts with the man god from this point on. It seems like he doesn't have any, I guess, hatred towards him or nothing, because the man god explained how he couldn't see the dragon god because he just can't see anything dealing with the dragon god for whatever reason, and so that's why he didn't warn Rudy about him. So when he gave that explanation and stuff like that, Rudy was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. So I'm not gonna blame you for that, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they interact from now on.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I'm assuming based on the fact that it's almost up to like 24, 20. It's like 21. This is episode 21, and normally animes have at least like either 24 or 26 episodes in a season. We're getting
anywhere from 24 to 26.
Yeah, so we're getting so close to that mark right now. I'm so upset because I feel like we're not going to get the answers we want by that time.
I mean, of course not. We're not going to get all the answers because I'm pretty sure, like, it's pretty as all the success Mushoku has begun and stuff. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a season 2. So
if not, Funimation is insane.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a season 2. But with that being said, it's time to rank this bad boy. So what would you give this episode of Mushoku Tensei?
This is like, y'all. This is a 10. I honestly, in my opinion,
you go. Okay, so you gonna give it a
10? Only. In the grand scheme of things, I feel like I have to.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. This leaves so many like threads to what like could lead to Mushoku. Not only that, like we finally get answers on some stuff with the man god himself, like, which is I think huge, because at first I didn't think we were gonna ever I was wondering what or when was going to tie him into this story. Because for so far, he's just been like, I've just entertained by you. And just as Ace has said, that don't seem like that's all you got. Not only that, we got to see really good action, which is always great from Mushoku Tensei. Great stuff about the characters again. When Rudy's revived and all the stuff with like Aris and stuff like that, we actually get to see kind of like the bond that they have in a non-creepy way, which is always good. But I think the overall thing is just like how the implications this has on the stories. This is a much watched episode. Like anyway, I could honestly, granted, it'd be bad practice to do it, but I can feel like I could sit someone down in front of this episode and they would leave wanting to watch more Mushoku.
Yeah, okay, I give you that. For me, I can't give it a 10, but I at least give it is either an 8 or a 9 for me, probably a 9. And my reasons is because I got my confirmation today that the man god is truly up to something. We don't know what it is, but he's up to something. I was always suspect of him, and now my suspicions just got confirmed today with this episode. Is also my next point is that we got the introduction of the dragon god. And now, apparently, like, what is the Dragon God's plan for Rudy at this point now? Because he saved him for a reason. We don't know what that reason is, but he saved him for a reason. So, with that being said, we're going to end up, at some point in line, we're going to end up seeing this guy again. We're going to end up seeing this guy again. And I'm pretty sure just like this time, it ain't going to be a swell meeting. We was probably already going to see him again just for the fact how he mentioned that how he doesn't know Aris and Ruzier quite yet. So we was already going to see him again, but now he also has plans for Rudy as well. And so just like you said, this has implications on the story as a whole.
That's why I feel like it's a 10, because this is like, you got to, because in my opinion, there's no way that the story remains the same after this episode. Yeah.
And then last but not least is we also got what gives it an 8-9. And for me, like I said, just a lot of world building in this episode, but the introduction of the cursed children that we got. So now, we got the blessed children and we got the cursed children now, and just what type of impacts that just them two type of people alone can have on the world of Mushoku Tensei is going to be interesting, especially since, the Dragon God himself is a cursed child. So it's just going to be interesting to see how, cursed children and blessed children play bigger roles inside the universe. Because even with that being said, Rudy might be a blessed child. Because, he can do incantationless magic. So, and he also has high magic.
But I don't know, because it seemed like when he taught it to Sylphie, that anyone could technically do it. It's just they got to wrap their minds around what it is. Maybe,
but we don't know that. I mean, for all we know, Sylphie could be a blessed child.
You're not wrong. That's a good point. Again, another reason why this is a 10. So much it just pushes forward.
For all we know, Sylphie could be a blessed child as well. But so all right. And we're gonna move on to the last episode we got for today, everybody. And it is finally time.
It's here.
The wait is over. The Demon Slayer, the real Demon Slayer, season 2, episode 1. The Sound Hashira, Tengen Uzui. Thank you. There we go.
Uzui. Yeah.
Me, I was one of the advocates, saying that we did not need the Mugen Train arc, especially after they lied to us and said that they were not going to adapt the Mugen Train arc because we're going to do the movie for the Mugen Train arc. That's the whole, that was the whole reason we was going to do the movie, because they said, quote unquote, it was too short to make a season, but yet they come back right around and do it anyways. But anyways, I didn't think we needed it. We got it anyway, but here we are.
They had to add a whole filler episode, so I guess they were technically right. I don't know. Personally, look, y'all. He was a part of the movement. I was leading the movement. I didn't want to see the movie again. And I'm finally glad that we are here in one of my personal favorite arcs of this story.
Correct.
It's about to be a fun ride, y'all. I swear.
All right. So we're gonna start with our first topic we got for Demon Slayer here, which is Muzan and Akaza. Also, before we talk about them, though, I just want to say how when they was doing the intro for this episode and it was showing like the little boy just walking through the streets of the city and stuff like that, the whole time just like, this better not be Muzan.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny because I was like, this is Muzan. This is what's so interesting to me that they dragged that out much longer than like I thought it was gonna be. Like I was like, oh wow, they're like really building up this kid, and then I love Demon Slayer's like subtlety with stuff. He was like, oh, and because these kids get this family of this adopted child's talking about. I'm like, yeah, it's just he has a skin condition where he can't. He's great. He just has a skin condition where he can't go out into the sun. And I was like, well, there you go.
Correct. And now, I don't want you to confirm or deny this either. Mm-hmm. This is just one of my theories. So Muzan, as you was just saying, his parents is, looking for, a cure to his skin condition or whatnot or whatever, because, he can't go into the sun. But immediately after that, we find out that Muzan is looking for a certain flower, a blue lily of some sort. And my theory is that he wants this flower to possibly try and cure his quote unquote skincare disease so he can actually go out into the sun, even though he is a demon. That's just my theory. But next up, getting to the meat of the topic, Muzan and Akaza. So Akaza shows up in front of Muzan and he, talks about how he basically killed one of the Hashira, mission accomplished or whatnot, and that, I won't let you down, Master Muzan. This man says, you thought killing a Hashira was an achievement, and I was just like, it's not an achievement? Okay. Like, I know you got better standards for your upper moons, Muzan, but god dang, like, it's not killing because you was talking mess about how the lower moon were not able to kill a Hashira, and now all of a sudden killing the Hashira is not an accomplishment. But I was just okay, well, a little bit of double standards Muzan, but his reasoning for that was because he wants all of the Demon Slayer courts to be destroyed, and not just one single Hashira.
Yeah, Big Boss Muzan says, "Step your weight up, step your weight." I need you to kill off of in true manager fashion. When you get one job done, they're never satisfied.
But yeah, but also another thing I do like I got to see from that scene was you got to see how truly terrifying that Muzan is in his own right, because he had Akaza just scared shitless, basically.
Quaking.
And after we just saw what Akaza just got done doing to Rengoku, just to see Akaza just in the state of scaredness himself is just like, yeah, Muzan, he that boy, he don't mess with him. He that dude for a reason. So whenever we do get to finally fight Muzan, it's gonna be I just can't wait to see that fight. I can't wait to see that fight. But you got anything to say about Akaza and Muzan's interaction?
I think the way they did this was great. I think it really illustrates just how much of a threat Muzan is, but also how much of a chance encounter Akaza and Rengoku's fight was. Because it wasn't like he sent him there specifically for that. He sent Akaza to find blue spider lilies for him. And he just so happened to, Akaza was like, and also Muzan was like, hey, if you can, also in your travels, kill a Hashira, that'd be great. And it just so happened that Rengoku was the closest one, and I'm like, this is insane. This is wild. Like, this was never supposed to happen, and it just spiraled into that. I was like,
it was one of those wrong places, wrong time situations. Which is crazy. Ooh. And, so, that's wild. I definitely cannot wait till we finally get to the end of Demon Slayer and we get to see the fight between Muzan and whoever. I'm assuming Tanjiro maybe might be a collection of people, but Muzan versus whoever. So moving on to our next topic, kind of 2 in 1, but we're gonna talk about Rengoku's family, his dad and his brother. So, just like we seen before, Rengoku's dad was still being a dickhead, as expected. He acted just how we expected him to act, and he really didn't want nothing to do with Tanjiro at all when he first showed up to his house to give them news about Rengoku's death, which was, like I said before, not surprising at all. But the main thing that came out of that conversation was we got the introduction of the sun breathing technique, which is apparently that's what Tanjiro's Hinokami Kagura is. And also apparently the sun breathing.
We haven't gotten the confirmation on that yet. That's what Tanjiro's thinking. I don't want to
correct.
I don't want to say that's exactly what it is because in the episode they never confirmed if it was that or not.
Correct. But anyways, so sun breathing is apparently the origins of all the breath techniques in the Demon Slayer Corps. Every one of them is a derivative of the sun breathing technique. And how he knew that Tanjiro was a quote unquote sun breather technique user was because of Tanjiro's earrings. This just opens up a whole nother can of worms. Like, was Tanjiro's father a Hashira? Was he a Demon Slayer at one point? And apparently, was he a sun breather, holder as well? And then it also brings up another point on why Muzan said that Tanjiro was a threat to him. It was because he was a holder of the sun breathing technique. Because apparently Muzan also knew what the earrings represented. Like we never knew what the earrings truly represented, but we got that confirmation today. So that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, no, it says serious implications moving forward because now we're trying to figure out at least in my mind, because it's like, how the hell do we master sun breathing? Should we teach everyone sun breathing, or is it just need to be one person? Like,
correct.
What's gonna be the implications of this moving forward? Because this is huge.
Yeah. So also with that, the whole interaction between Rengoku's dad and brother and Tanjiro. We all know that Tanjiro, he went there for two reasons. One, to deliver Rengoku's message to his family, and then two, look at the Flame Hashira's Chronicles book. So Tanjiro did get a chance to get his hands on that said book, but the book was completely torn to shreds, and Rengoku's brother think his dad did it, which I'm pretty sure his dad did it as well.
And the way he was acting.
Yeah, the way that man was acting, I'm pretty sure he did it as well.
Yeah, that dude need to put the bottle down. Okay.
But so at this point, Tanjiro got one of his missions accomplished for going to Rengoku's estate, but he didn't get the other one accomplished, which was learning more about the Hinokami Kagura dance technique and stuff like that. So at this point, he has to find out another way to learn more about it now, which is definitely going to be interesting to find out how he does that, because it seems to me that the Flame Hashira's book was that one way, and if there is another way, it may have something to do. I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with his father. If there is another way to learn more about the technique, it'll end up probably have something to do more with his father. So maybe Tanjiro might go home at one point to look for clues or something. I don't know, but I'm just spitballing here. I also want to say, I have not read the manga. I'm totally spitballing here. This guy, on the other hand, he did read the manga, so that's why he's not saying as much, because he doesn't want to spoil everybody.
Sorry,
so,
guys.
Like I said, I'm gonna keep him in check, so it's gonna be no spoilers. Hopefully, if I can keep him in check. But yeah. So moving on to the next topic that I wanted to touch on was, we can talk about this. I was right in the little time skip that they was gonna do. No, it was standard Demon Slayer stuff, how they do stuff in this show. After a battle, if somebody's majorly hurt, they gotta rest up and heal. And, of course, healing actually takes time. They don't, they're regular humans, so they can't just heal automatically. It actually takes, months and stuff like that for them to gain their strength back.
And that's something I really enjoy, honestly, about Demon Slayer as a series, is most of the time when, especially anime has this problem a lot, where a character will go through a battle that should put them at least in a hospital for a while, and they're just like, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. So no, I agree with you. That is definitely one thing I do agree with you on that, because their fights have repercussions. It's just not like, if they break an arm or something like that, it's not like, oh, we're going to see these mugs back out in the field the next day. Oh, no, like, you going to the hospital. You finna go sit your butt down for a hot minute and rest and heal. Like, this is real. We're humans. Like, if you break an arm, you're going to have to let that thing heal. And so, they went on the time. It wasn't a big one, just a 4-month time skip for everybody to heal up and get back out into action and doing their Demon Slayer activities.
Yeah, they showed them all training. Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro all got. Well, I don't know. I'll say they got. I'm assuming they got stronger because most of the time after in their training arcs they seem to get stronger because after they got healed up and they started training, each of them started going on their own individual missions. Even Zenitsu himself.
Well, once you bring that up, because you would assume that they have to get stronger, because part of their regimen of getting better while they're at the Butterfly Mansion is actual training. So true. Even by just the actual training that they do just to get back up and healthy and stuff, you ought to think that it actually does make them a little bit stronger.
You're not wrong in that regard. I was just saying, like, I think something of note or big in note is just to see that they were all starting to go on their own solo missions because
correct. Yeah, no, I agree.
After they met up with each other, they immediately started working together on like missions that they were all sent on, such as like the one for the Spider Forest, and then the Mugen Train itself. And then we actually got a glimpse of them all. Well, not all of them, but we got mention of Inosuke and Zenitsu going off on missions of their own, and even Zenitsu, who, as we know, normally would whine about it. Apparently stops.
Now one filler episode that I would not mind watching is like one of their Inosuke's and Zenitsu solo mission.
So you want to know something interesting, and this is basically going to remove it from, well, not remove it from my docket, but it's going to I can talk about it. So in the manga, and I'm not going to do this a lot unless I notice the difference. So this was a very small, but I feel like a very nice difference that they did. In the manga, the solo mission that Tanjiro goes on that we saw in the anime today, that's nowhere in the story.
Interesting.
They mentioned that they just like in the anime, they mentioned that they each start going on their own singular missions up until the end of this episode where they basically get recruited. But they just mentioned that they don't show it, and I thought it was a nice touch to show Tanjiro go out and do his own solo mission to show that he's still up to par as a demon slayer. I thought that was just a really nice little small touch. Other than that, though, this was verbatim the manga. Okay, but I thought that was a nice small change they added.
That's definitely nice to know. But yeah, like I was saying before, one filler episode that I definitely wouldn't mind would be seeing Inosuke and Zetsu, one of their solo missions that they went on, because I'm interested to see, specifically Zenitsu, how does he fight on his own now when he's in a solo mission? Like, is he still going to sleep for everything and stuff like that? It's just going to be interesting. It's just be interesting to see.
What I'm wondering now is if he does, because I know that's like his gimmick is like falling asleep. I wonder if it's like partial now or something like that, because I still feel like he's still obviously scared, still scared boy Zenitsu.
Correct.
But it seems, but I wonder if it's like a partial like unconscious state. Like he might be like not seeing everything, but he's at least aware of what's happening. I wonder if that's the case.
Correct. Yeah, something like that. So, and then one topic before we get to the last topic, which is the Sound Heister, but one topic I want to touch on before that is, so I mentioned in the last episode that Tanjiro, he no longer has his sword anymore. He's gonna have to get another one made again. And in true fashion, here comes Hagazuka showing up this episode to terrorize Tanjiro because he lost his sword again. Now that whole sequence was just funny as hell to me. Like I knew it was gonna happen, and I was just waiting for it to happen, and I'm glad I got it.
Yeah, no, it was every time Hagazuka shows up. It's a riot. The man is hilarious, and in true fashion, he does not want you messing up his swords. He worked goddamn hard on those. Okay,
that he did.
And it is just, I don't know. I think Demon Slayer does an amazing job of balancing like that dark and light levity to it. Like these are serious situations, but they does a good job of mixing in that comedy because when Hana, I'm just calling Hana for short.
Okay.
When Hana shows up, it's immediately after Tanjiro deals with delivering the message to Rengoku's father and his brother, which is a super like somber moment because, as you know, it's like delivering bad news about a loved one is always hard. So it's not like this was like some like super like this was like very low emotional, like this is like sad, and then immediately they were able to flip it around and make this comedy part, and I just really adore that about this series.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I knew that man was gonna pop up sooner or later, and I'm just glad I got it because it was just hilarious.
I love the fact. I also love the fact that they had to run interference on him to get Tanjiro in the house. That was so funny. She had to open up the side doors. Like get it.
Yeah, like I said, that whole scene was just hilarious. Like I didn't know because when he first appears in the show, I'm thinking it's a I thought it was a demon. I'm gonna be straight up with you. When he first appears in front of Tanjiro, I thought it was a demon. But then they zoomed in on his face, and I was like, "Oh shit, there he go."
There he go. You can't escape him.
But okay, so we're gonna move on to our last topic we got for today for Demon Slayer, which is the Sound Hashira himself, Tengen Uzui. So he shows up at the Butterfly Mansion to recruit female Demon Slayer Corps members because he needs them for his next mission for whatever reason. Whatever reason, we don't know, but he needs them for his next mission. But instead of him taking some of the females that was at the Butterfly Mansion, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu, they said, instead of taking them, take us, we'll go on the mission with you.
Well, that's actually
in their place.
That's actually not what happened.
That's actually not what happened.
So what happened was Tengen tries to take these women, and not by asking them. He just like, I'm gonna need y'all. Come with me. Wait. And Inosuke, Tanjiro, and Zenitsu show up and like, hey, stop it, put them down. They don't want to. And so he puts one of the girls down because, as Tanjiro points out, she's not even a part of the Demon Slayer Corps, so he just legit drops her midair. Tanjiro luckily catches her. The last girl, I'm forgetting her name, but it's a blue-eyed.
I think it's I or I or something like that. It's something with an A. I just can't remember. Right?
Yeah, she gets captured because she actually was at a point in time part of the Demon Slayer Corps, but she is retired to work in the Butterfly Mansion. And so Tengen is like, I'll take her. I can use her. And Tanjiro's like, no, man, she doesn't want to fight. Like, you can't disrespect her choices. And if you try to take her, we will try and fight you. And Tengen, for a second, he's like, you know what? Instead of taking her, I'll take you guys. You seem willing. That's what he does. They don't necessarily volunteer.
At least that might how he did it in the manga, but that's not what he did in anime. Because it was literally like, instead of take her, take us, we'll go in her place. That's what they said.
I might be wrong. I might be mixing it up, but you could be right because I could have sworn that's how it happened.
Yeah, but so yeah. Anyways, instead of old girl going, they're gonna take his place. Our trio, they're gonna take his place. But it was just interesting to find out that that's how they end up going to the entertainment district. Me personally, I thought it was just going to be, another mission that they was going to get sent on. But this seems like another situation where, in the wrong place at the wrong time, in the wrong place at the wrong time type situation where they showed up at the Butterfly Mansion at the same time that the Sound Hashira was there trying to kidnap women, apparently. Yeah. And instead of letting him kidnap women, they was like, hey, don't take the women, we'll go in their place instead, which is kind of commendable for them. They looking up for the women's, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. At this point. They don't know what they was getting. Even crazy about that, they didn't even ask what the mission was. They were just like, we'll go for them instead in their place.
They're our heroes. That 9 times out of 10, they go take the job, I guess.
I feel you,
especially Tanjiro. 10 times out of 10, Tanjiro is like, what, demons? I'm there.
Yeah, I feel it just at some point, you at least could have actually, hey, by the way, what we doing?
That would have been smart.
Where we going?
That would have been smart. But as we know, Tanjiro is a jump in head first type guy. Literally, he tries to headbutt Tengen before he does anything. But it's gonna be interesting, I think, for everyone to get to meet Tengen. He's obviously a full character, and
just from what we got to see from small clips of him from this episode alone, I already could tell this man is a straight fool. Another interesting fact about Tengen is that he used to be a shinobi in their world. I didn't even know they had shinobis in their world, but apparently
they
do. But
it is feudal era Japan, so
yeah.
Well,
I mean, you are correct.
The feudal era, I guess, because they have trains, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So apparently, Tegan used to be a shinobi, and he was so tired of that, secret life and pent up life, on I guess just leaving a secret, honorable way that.
Now he's flamboyant.
How he quoted it was, all the feelings inside of him burst out, and now he's the person he is today.
Flamboyant as hell.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But he definitely is going to be seen like he's an interesting character to see. We did not get to see him fight today, which was unfortunate. But hopefully, next episode we get to see him fight a demon or two, because we still don't know how they're going to depict like the sound Hashira moves and stuff like that of the sound breathing. So we're still waiting on to see that as well. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. So next episode we're going to the entertainment district, everybody. So we're finally here. It's been a long wait sitting through the movie train arc movie again, but at least now we can actually finally start giving a little bit more substance on our Demon Slayer sections of these episodes. Mm-hmm. Also, one last thing we want to talk about for Demon Slayer for this episode before we end is the new intro. We got another intro for the season 2. How did you like it, McMillian?
So I think it's not bad. It does not hit as hard as Gurren, which is the first opening. But I think visually it is very nice. I think it sets a tone. It's just not as much as a banger as that first opening. It's really hard to beat that first opening, I feel like.
I mean, but now that I think about it, it's always hard for animes to beat their first intro, because for whatever reason, their first intro is always their bangers, like their staple of their show.
That's true.
So it's definitely always hard to top their first intro.
Yeah, some exceptions to that rule. I feel like 86 is season 2.
I'll give you that, because 86 season 2 intro does slap. I'll give you that. That just slaps. So I'll give you that. Yeah, but I'll have to agree as well, though.
It's hard to beat that first one.
Yeah, I have to agree with you as well, though, on the Demon Slayer intro, though. Visually, it looks amazing. It does look good. I just think the actual music itself, it doesn't slap as hard as the other one. I would agree on that. But visually, though, the intro, it looks amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's time to rate this episode.
I think this is a 7.5, maybe 7.5 to an 8. Reason being, this we get introduced to a new Hashira. We get to see Muzan interact with Akaza. Which is a huge, I think, a big building point to just Muzan as a character, to show how threatening he is. The fact that he's the command, because I feel like with Akaza's introduction, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, this is the third upper room." What the rest like? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we forget that there's a boss ahead of everybody. So it's like getting to see Muzan actually like do anything is, I feel like, somewhat interesting, because it's like, yo. You barely, we know you're the reason the story is happening, but we barely get to see you.
Yeah. So then, before you keep going on that, is also, does Mugen have the power to shapeshift? Because
all demons have the power to morph their body to a certain degree, but it seems like Muzan fully has it. To me, at least, Muzan fully has like control of it.
Yeah, because at the end of last season, we saw him in a female body. And then at the beginning of this season, he's a little boy now. So it's just like...
Yeah, it seems to me like he's... Not to touch on it too much, because like I said, we're kind of in the closing. But it seems to me that Muzan switches his form based on what he needs to do at the moment.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I can definitely see that for a guy like Muzan.
Because I think the reason he's these, like... I think these people might be... Based on the conversation they were having at the beginning of the episode, the family that took him in... I think they might be into like medical research or something like that, considering how they were talking about like, we're going to try and find a cure for this kid's skin condition. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. But, to kind of close up what I was saying, I think this is like a 7.5 or an 8 due to the fact of like the world building we got, the interaction we got to see between like Tanjiro and the Rengoku family. Overall, the ramifications that like I said, the fact that we switched from sorrow to levity in like a snap, and it didn't feel terrible. Like Demon Slayer is at where it's supposed to be at, and it's continuing steadily. I'm just excited for the rest of the stuff to come. But this was a great beginning. Like,
correct.
No lie.
Okay. I'll probably have to give it about an 8. It's starting off with the Muzan and Kaza interaction for all the reasons you just named yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into that because you already talked about that. 2, we got the introduction of the sun breathing technique, and which is basically apparently the origins of all the breathing techniques in the Demon Slayer court. So that was just like a huge lore drop right there. And then now a big reason for me as well from this episode was how I mentioned earlier, he went to one of the reasons he went to Rigoku House was also to read the Flame Hashira Chronicles book to find out more about the Hinokami Kagura.
Mm-hmm.
And now that book has been completely destroyed, so now he has to find out other ways to learn about it. And so I'm definitely interested to find out what is going to be the other way that Tanjiro learns more about the Hinokami Kagura technique and and just further improve on that. So I'm definitely interested to see that. Mm-hmm. As well as just it's season 2. I mean, it's finally here. Here. I can't say nothing else than that. It's finally here. We finally waited. This episode was, it's pretty much what I imagined this first episode to be. I wasn't looking for too much action in this episode. I didn't expect there to be too much action in this episode. I did expect one small thing that I didn't get this episode was I thought was going to see one small clip of the Sound Hashira killing a demon or something, just like like a baby demon or something like that. I thought we'd just get like a small clip like that. We did not get that. I'm not too sad about that. That's not the end all be all. But that's the only thing that I wanted from this episode that I didn't get to see. But other than that, I mean, it was a good episode, and then especially for the fact that I got to see Hagenzuka act the fool again. Mm-hmm. So that was amazing. But so that's the end of Demon Slayer. Was there any weekly anime news that you wanted to talk about? Anime/manga news?
Not necessarily. No, I haven't heard about any other new animes or getting confirmed quite yet. But please, you guys, part 6 of JoJo's is out. If you are a JoJo fan, it's so good. This season's so good so far. Please go ahead and check it out. If you're not a JoJo's fan, consider checking it out. The whole series is on Netflix right now, and you can legit straight binge it. Don't skip any parts. We don't encourage that here.
I haven't watched JoJo's yet. I'm gonna start it. It's in the queue. I'm gonna start it up eventually. I don't know when, but it's definitely on my list as one of the animes to watch. It's
you gotta check it out, Alex. It's good.
I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about it and how good it is and stuff like that. And it's just, I think one of the main things that really started turning me off from JoJo's earlier was like all the clips I saw from like the anime in general on social media stuff like that. And I guess it's kind of a pun in the show's name, but they were just all so bizarre and stuff like that. And I'm just like, what is going on in this show? I just like every time I see a clip or something, I'm just so lost and so confused. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here. It looks nice, like visually, it looks nice. Like it visually looks nice, but I'm just so lost every time I see a clip from that anime. And it's just like, I have no idea what's going on. But eventually, I do plan on starting it up eventually, though. I just don't know when.
Okay.
But, all right. So we'll go ahead and take us out, McMillian.
All right, guys. As always, thank you guys for attending the meetings. If you're listening to this on any of our streaming service, consider hitting that follow/subscribe button. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and leave any comments about, stuff that you would have, maybe we didn't touch upon, or that you thought we should have hit up, or something you want to talk about more. Go ahead and also, if you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, consider doing that. If you want to stay up to date with us, please consider following our social medias. We are the Gurren Otakus on Twitter, and on Instagram we are Gurren Otaku Council. And as always, this has been our meeting. Signing off. Meeting adjourned, I should say. So, signing off.
Peace.